We are now less than a week away, 6 days out from a college football playoff national championship game in Atlanta, inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium, between two powerhouse programs in the sport, two standard bearers of success in college football, and two historic universities, Ohio State and Notre Dame. The Buckeyes, an 8.5-point favorite against the Fighting Irish, a total of 45 and a hook. Joe, a projected hypothetical national championship matchup between Ohio State and Notre Dame featured a 9.5-point spread after the Buckeyes beat Texas in the Cotton Bowl and Notre Dame had dispatched of Penn State in the Orange Bowl on Thursday and Friday night. The actual line opened up at 9.5. It has worked back to the Fighting Irish ever so slightly, but still north of a touchdown. In your estimation, Germanary, for Monday's national championship game between the Irish and the Buckeyes, will the game be more competitive than this large 8.5-point spread might indicate?
No, I don't. I think here, Ben, that if it's going to be competitive, it's going to be because Ohio State has reverted back and shoots itself in the foot to give Notre Dame an opportunity in this game. But if the Ohio State that is we have seen in the playoffs over these last 3 or 4 games shows up, then I don't see how. I think this game has all the makings of a absolute train wreck here. Not that Notre Dame doesn't deserve to be here, but I just don't believe that Notre Dame is going to be great playing from behind. I think if Ohio State plays error-free football, does not shoot themselves in the foot, I think that there might very well be a laddering situation available to people. Lay the 7, lay the 8, lay the 9, lay the 10. It could be absolute 2 touchdowns or more when it's all said and done and Ohio State wins.
Yeah, listen, that's what we are expecting from the odds perspective. Ohio State in its 3 college football playoff games is nearly outscoring opponents by 60 total points, 111 to 52. You divide that by 3, you do the quick math, that's an average margin of victory for the Buckeyes of 19.7 points per game. They have won each of their 3 in the CFP by now 2 touchdowns. But Notre Dame also has been pretty darn good. They closed as a slight underdog against Penn State in the Orange Bowl. They won that game outright. In fact, under Marcus Freeman, 7 times now, the Irish as an underdog, 5-1-1 against the spread with 4 outright victories, including 2 games they played against Ohio State in which they were a dog, both in early 2022 and last year in 2023. Notre Dame understands the opponent on the other side. In fact, it's their head coach's alma mater and where he played his college football as well for Marcus Freeman. Joe, let's talk about that total, 45 and a hook. It matches the lowest number we have seen for any over-under throughout the college football playoff. In fact, the last 3 games that Notre Dame has played, including this one, Sugar Bowl against Georgia, against Penn State in the Orange Bowl, first game against the Dogs under, second game because of a 31-point fourth quarter in Miami last week, did go over. If the total is correct, if it's around that number, maybe a few points under, perhaps even just a few points over, how difficult is it then for Ohio State to cover as an 8.5-point favorite?
Well, it's if you like Notre Dame, then you like the under in this game, because I don't see a game script that can unfold that sees Notre Dame winning this game in some sort of shootout, Ben. They just do not and are not built to go toe-to-toe in that kind of game. But we have seen teams against this Ohio State defense that were built and did have the weapons on the outside to stretch the field and had the passing game. And you know how that worked out for them. Yet not well. Oregon, not well. Texas, not well. Indiana. I mean, you can go down the list here. Notre Dame's defense is going to have to turn over Will Howard and Ohio State and keep this game under 45.5. If you like Ohio State to win this game and cover, Well, then there's one obvious way, Ben, that I think you have to look. I would avoid the 45.5 in case of like a late empty netter that could very well happen and push this thing over. I would then look at the Ohio State team total and look to back that over in this game.
And just tracking down that number quickly here for Ohio State's team total for a national championship, it is 27.5. A slight bit more juice on the under, but that's expecting around 4 touchdowns scored by Ryan Day's Ohio State team. They did score 28, courtesy of the Jack Sawyer 83-yard fumble return touchdown, of course, in the Cotton Bowl against Texas. 2 elite defenses, 2 of the 3 best scoring defenses throughout the entirety of this season, as they have both put on display throughout the college football playoff. The Buckeyes, as we have seen, the best red zone defense in the country, and Notre Dame has been pretty good as well, defending the entirety of the field. 32 takeaways for the Irish this year. That's the most at the FBS level. 151 points off those 32 turnovers. That, again, the most at the FBS level. 2 critical throughout the college football playoff. The strip sack of Gunnar Stockton that led to a touchdown just 1 play later for Notre Dame at the end of the opening half in New Orleans. And, of course, the interception of Drew Aller with just over 30 ticks remaining in regulation that set up Mitch Jeter for the national championship clinching field goal for the Irish. A great, great matchup in my estimation in Atlanta. I do believe it'll be slightly more competitive than that 8.5-point spread. Ultimately, I believe the Buckeyes do win a national championship. Joe, I bet Ohio State to win the national title back on October 6th in the week leading up to the Oregon game. So I've got them at a plus 290 price. Of course, they are a hefty favorite now to get that done. 4-1 before this year got underway. I bet Notre Dame at plus 550 as the college football playoff bracket was unveiled. You see the 18-1 number on the Irish before the season got started. Again, I feel pretty good entering Monday night in the A.